everyone, hope you're all fantastic wherever you are in the world. Just a short video, I hope. I've been asked very nicely by my guides, which are a mix of Andromedan and Lyran, and I work with the healers from, I was going to say Alcyone, but I don't think it is. I always forget the name. Anyway, they've been speaking to me lately about strength. They keep showing me the strength card. And what they're trying to convey to me is that there is times coming ahead that we're going to need to have strength. Sorry, I had to keep stopping and starting because I keep hearing a big loud crash bang every time I say the word strength. And I do feel like there's been something hanging around our house lately, watching, checking on what we're up to and where we are in our development in our work, because we're all kind of like little spiritual warriors in this house and we all do our thing for humanity. That's what we came here to do. We all do it in our own little way. So we are very hounded by entities who try and either give us nightmares or they bang and crash. And interestingly, before I get started on what I need the strength card for, is we've been getting spoons getting chucked. Now, any of you who are part of the My Lab will know that spoons are used in the training of the people that, let's call them super soldiers, okay? That they use spoons in part of their training because for some reason there's an emotional connection to a spoon from when you were a baby and your mum's not feeding you quick enough. So apparently spoons are the weapon of choice. So if you're in your house and a spoon starts spinning or wobbling or vibrating and then fly across the unit, it's probably just a My Lab. They're just trying to freak you out or test your fear. But it probably means you're an abductee as well, because they only usually watch abductees. They've no reason to watch anyone else. They want to know what they've done to you, what upgrades you've had or whatever, what you know. I've had really lucid dreams where I'm sitting at a PC and these people are asking me to fill in all my details, and I'm looking at these questions they're asking and I'm like, oh my hell, I get up and walk away. Whoever I'm next to, they're sitting at their PC, I'm like, don't do this, it's invasive. I must be a real riot there. But anyway, let's get back to what I'm saying, this strength card. Now, I'm watching what's coming out in mainstream media and I'm kind of smirking to myself, because I've also looked at what some other doctors have been saying about this side effect of the medical procedure, okay? And in some people, not all, in some people, due to their own prior physiology or medical status, will get a form of Ebola as a side effect. I can't remember now what it's called, but I don't really retain information very well. I can't, I'm always connected to some other outside place and it makes this place hard to navigate. But it's meant to cause your organs to fuse together and bleed out. Now that would be classed as Ebola by anyone just looking, right? I was like, how are they going to do this? And then I see, wow, 100 monkeys have escaped in America. And one woman who, bizarrely enough, went over to it and put her hand in the cage of an unknown frightened animal. No one would do that. Clearly she's an actress. And is now feeling sick. And I've seen other reports that there's also an Ebola vaccine being manufactured and allowed to go into production. Guess what? We're probably going to have an Ebola outbreak. But the thing is, there doesn't actually need to be any monkeys, okay? Doesn't need to be anyone who's suddenly touched a monkey and got sick. They just have to tell the humans this. That's clearly enough. They're already in a state of frantic panic about catching an invisible thing that's going to cause their death any second. And who am I to say? My guys told me it was a lot of BS back in 2013. They told me it was going to happen. And they also told me I wouldn't need to take the medical procedure. So I'll never be forced to take it. So I've never done anything. I've not worried. I've not changed my life in any way. I'm just carrying on as normal. no fear here, because I believe what other things my guides have told me have happened. So I've no reason to doubt that they're what they told me in 2013 when I saw queues of people lining up 6 feet apart to get some kind of green liquid injected into them, and there was behind them in a plaza there was people protesting. Coincidentally, these people were queuing up to go into a medical institute, and it looked like spacemen were at the entrance, and they had to go past the spacemen and get an injection. And they told me, on you go, Claire, you know. So it wasn't I'm part of that dark elite. It was my guide setting the stage and showing me this is going to happen, but you won't have to. So it will never be made mandatory. So just carry on and be happy, living your joy. But because I keep pulling this strength card continually, they are, and I do feel a slight anxiousness in my being, right? I'm getting this, a Kupi getting attacked again, because they do what I call heat lamping. They will project an emotion onto you, and you will feel it as fear or happiness. If they're heat lamping you with happiness for some unknown reason, but you will start to feel this feeling, and the whole household can suddenly be really on edge and anxious, and it's just a heat lamp. There's nothing to be anxious about, but it's trying to work out, it's trying to feel the different things in your body. You know, when you quieten down and you breathe and you think, okay, let's just do some breath work, let's connect to earth, connect to source. Do I feel there's anything to be anxious about? And quite often it's no, there's not. But I think I'm feeling nervous. It's like I'm picking up on a collective consciousness of nervousness. Now, I know there's nothing to be scared of. I know that I can walk out in the street without a mask and not get anything, because there's nothing to get when it comes to Ebola, okay? I don't believe that's actually going to be a real thing. They've realised by now that the Emperor's Got No Clothes really does work. People don't actually need proof. They just need to be scared enough in order to follow orders. And it's a shame. It's a shame that people are being coerced like this and terrified like this in submission, because fear is a powerful thing. You know, and it's hard to resist fear when you're in the face of it. It depends on what your fear is. And if you haven't done the work prior, where you have absolute trust in the universe and trust in your journey, and just you can feel your truth, you can feel your future, you can have that quiet voice. We say, should I be concerned with this? And your body gives certain feelings, energetic movements, whatever, and you know, no, I don't have to be scared of this. But no one's had this training that's watching, you know, mainstream news 24/7, you know, going home from work on their lunch break just to check the news, you know, to see if there's any update. These people are living in absolute terror. So when this news comes out that there's Ebola, and I really think there's going to be, that's what the next thing is. I've been saying it in my groups for the past couple of weeks. I run some different groups, and I've been talking to them about it, and I think it's going to be a big lie. There's not going to be any truth in it, but it's another way of making you, because obviously the other sickness is becoming a joke now. It's laughable. There's so much information coming out that they haven't even isolated it. There's no proof it even exists, and a lot of the deaths were caused by the lockdowns, the excess deaths. There was actually no young people dying, you know, actually just of that, you know. So ground yourself, connect yourself to your higher energies, and do not be afraid. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Namaste, my friends and my family of the Rainbow Tribe. I'm just making a quick video because I've been talking a lot about techniques of feeling your own energy fields and how to activate the energy field for maximum potential. This is just a quick lesson, and for those that know how to do this, please just ignore this. What I want you to do first is give your hands a rub together, get the energy moving, give them a shake, get rid of any negative energy. Sometimes you might hear sparks. I just had a spark there if I've picked up any negative energy during my day. So just rub your hands together like this without touching, about 2 inches apart, and you'll start to feel a vibration or a buzz. When you first do this, keep going with it until you start to feel it, because you have to wake your energy up. You have to start becoming conscious of it.
And once you do, you'll feel the buzz. Now, I can feel a huge tingling now and a big buzz in my hands. So I want to start to pull away. Now those that are clairvoyant and that have the sight for aura colours should be able to see my energy pulling. I can see auras around people when I watch a video, so some of you may be able to see this. And I'm going to keep pulling. At this stage now, I feel like I'm pulling some kind of elastic that's in my hands, and I'm going to pull. I feel the pull stop and push. Keep weaving it, keep moulding it, and keep pulling it. Right, now to get a blast of colour, my hair looks very green today. To get a blast of colour, what I do is I open up my top chakra, I connect up to the galactic centre, like a big long tube, and it goes into the central sun, or black hole. My feet go into the core of the earth, and I become like a transformer in the middle to hold all that energy. Now, I'm going to pull it down my top chakra, I'm going to pull it down my arms, and I push gold out through my hands now. So gold energy, so I should see it go from green to gold. Here's hoping. Now, I'm going to start weaving the gold energy. I'm going to start creating an orb. Show you how I make the orbs I send to all my family in the Rainbow Tribe. Now I can feel a pressure between the palms of my hands here. So I know that the energy is starting to gather as a ball. At this stage I would normally imagine like a little electrical current shooting out my hands, out my fingers, to a central point. And that central point is creating a little, what looks like a nucleus now, or with a little buzzy ball going round the outside of it. Shoot the electricity, create the orb. I can see a gold orb now. Don't know if any of you can, but I can. With that gold orb, I'm just going to fill it with all the love I have for Gaia and their little children. Fuse it with a big blast of energy. And now I'm going to give it a heart kiss.
Because it seems to me that January, my guide showed me January would be fast moving and a lot of information, but February feels like going down a plug. Now, I feel like even though we are grounded and we know none of it's real, or we're still going to feel the effects of going down the plug. We're going to be watching people going down the plug. And I had to think, I was trying to kind of remote view the future and see, what do I see the plug hole representing? And it feels like an idea, but an idea that most people hold really dearly. Something that's the fabric of reality for people, and when that's removed, they have no sense of stability anymore. They're shaken to the core, and as such, there's going to be a collective consciousness of dismay and fear, and I look at the government leaders and think, are they going? This is how you do remote viewing, is, you put yourself into a very calm, do your breath work, calm state, and you look at certain individuals, and you make the intention you're looking in a month's time. So I'm looking into the future, the near future of this individual. I'm looking at them, I can focus, what do I see them doing? What do I see them doing? And if, for example, I'm looking at old Boris right now, right? And I'm looking into him. And I'm seeing him shuffling a lot of papers. Shuffling papers frantically, like he's looking for something that will get him out of this, get him out of whatever trouble he's in, or he's frantically looking for something that can help him. And he feels lots of cortisol running through him. He feels the end is nigh. And then you can always do 2 months ahead. Let's look 2 months ahead. What do I see? Let's look at 2 months ahead. What do you see with old Boris? I see him lying down, which would mean defeat. I see him lying down. Perhaps he's wearing dark clothes. Looks like he's lying down with dark clothes. Perhaps he's gone into hiding and I can no longer see him. He just looks so he's a shadow of himself. Perhaps that means he's gone into hiding. He knows the humans are coming for him. That's how you do it. And I've done this since a little girl, and because I've been right a lot more often than I've been wrong, the only times I think, everyone can do this. It's not that I've got any magic gifts. It's just that I believe it's possible, and that's all it takes, is the belief it's possible, really. And you can do it yourself. It's just having that confidence that what you're saying is right. But you practice it. You do it with friends or family, and you look at where they are, without being too invasive, okay? But you look at where they are when they should be at their work. Look and see, where are they? And then you say, were you just at a shop? But yeah, I was, yeah. And that's how you practice. You learn to have confidence in yourself by getting hits, right? Getting it right. And I used to do it with strangers, walk about their house, looking at their house and stuff, and telling them what they had on their wall, and unusual things, ornaments that were very unusual, and so you do gain a kind of trust in yourself that you're getting it. Now, as the future is subjective, I'm looking at a possible future that, as current events are going along just now, it will end like this. Now, there's always alternative timelines. This is like a, get me out if I'm wrong card, because I could be wrong, right? But people have intuitive impulses. They get guidance. They get an idea they should do something. And as long as everyone's listening to their guidance, this outcome's going to happen. But you're going to get people who go against the strong pull to do something out of stubbornness or whatever. And it's going to change that timeline slightly. It's always going to end up in the same place, but it may happen differently how it gets there. It's like water. Water will always find its way down to the stream, right? Water will find its way to the sea. It sometimes has to take different paths. Our future is a determined future, but it may take longer to get there or have to take a different path. But I'm seeing the current path now without anyone sidestepping it or being stubborn, if that makes sense. It's how we look at the future. I'm looking at that future, the one we're currently in, with everyone behaving themselves and doing what they're supposed to and listening to their strong intuition. So let's take another example, okay? Let's look at Fuji, okay? So look at Fuji in a month. I don't see Fuji. I don't see him. He doesn't seem to exist. I don't see him at all. Let's look at him now. He's dark. He's dark. He's gone dark. Either there's black magic hiding them from us, or he's not here. He's gone. He's already gone. Let's look at a month ago. I'm seeing him with a ticket in his hand. It's like a ticket. It's like Willy Wonka's golden ticket. He's got the golden ticket. He's obviously been allowed rescue by... Okay, I'm seeing the ones you would call demons, which are just a type of reptilian, I believe. I think they've taken him, they've allowed him to go with them. Do you know when you're lying in bed at night and you start getting visions coming to you? I always tell myself to write them down, but I can't be bothered getting back up and getting pen and paper. And I see the most crazy things coming to me in my visions, like it's not just futures, it's like weird things, weird apparatus. And like I saw a bird's wings last night when I closed my eyes, and the wings were like made of like crystal, and they were reflecting light like a prism. But every single wing was like its own prism, and it was this amazing bird. And I'm like, what's that representing? What does that? And sometimes the way information works is I'll tell you, and you might say, oh, I know what that means. Because I quite often get answers to things, questions I've had for 10 odd years, and I get them off somebody else who'll say, oh yeah, I know what that means. And it takes 10 years to get the answer. But the prism to me felt like hope. The bird of hope. And it's landed in my garden. Or, what do you think that means? What is the bird made of rainbow feather prisms? It's really beautiful. It was really nice. But I see these random objects and I'm like, is that something new going to come into our reality? Am I seeing something new? Or is that something that they're using now to work with us? And I just felt somebody appear here. Someone's come to give me some information. I'm trying to focus on what I'm seeing now, what they're showing me. funny, I'm seeing a plane merging with a like a saucer, like a Boeing 737 kind of plane. It's a smaller plane, I think, but it's merging like a saucer shape is going into the wing. I don't believe that means a plane's going to crash into a flying saucer, but it could be that the saucers are making themselves look like planes to observe, to watch us. I'm getting a thumbs up sign, so that's right. So you may see planes doing a bit crazy manoeuvres, glitching out, like you're looking at a plane in the sky and it seems to just maybe just stop in midair or something like that. Something like that. You're going to keep your eyes on the skies, because I think there's something that you're going to see that's maybe going to show you that not all is what you think it is. Just, they'll do that to give you hope or reassurance that you're not alone down here on this planet, that we do have our group. We're just the boots on the ground. Everyone has a team. You have your team behind you who's obviously all eyes round all the time watching for your safety, and they'll give you guidance and a heads up. Your team, you will all have a team, and if you're drawn to this video, then you're going to be one of us. Okay, I don't think there's anything else I'd like to talk about apart from the fear. Ground yourself and just think, okay, we've just got to get through these next few months, because I always saw March as being a celebrating time. People are cheering. People are really cheering, out in the streets cheering, so there's something great happens in March. Some kind of, victory for the people. Perhaps it's to do with the truck drivers. Perhaps they are going to have some kind of great reaction on Earth with this. They're going to change the narrative and we will get food again. That's what I wanted to say. Sorry, just quickly. I think I've mentioned this a few times before, but I had a dream in this house. Most of my dreams happened in 2013, 2012 and 2013, and they are happening now. And just on a funny side note, right, I think I had two friends back in then who I was doing kind of like cosmic warrior stuff, we were doing out of body stuff, we were meeting up, we were doing a lot of remote viewing, talking to world leaders and saying don't do that, or tell the truth. And anyway, as life happens, you move house, you don't get to see each other as often, and you eventually kind of go your separate ways. Well, I've met another two people who even look like the two girls, and we're doing the same thing. We've all met at this time, and it's not just that. The vibrations I'm getting now is the same I was getting in 2012. The tones, the multi-tones, my head's a modem, really strong, like I was getting in 2012.
Hi friends, I'm just giving a quick update on my Ascension symptoms. I think what I'm feeling mostly these last few weeks, and it's been a continually kind of upward struggle here, but pulling away from all society, pulling away from people that have been in my life for a long time, because the energy is just, it's like being in a pressure cooker just now. It's like the vibration noise, the high pitched noise in my ears is at night, especially when there's no other noise, ridiculously loud, and my vibration, my body is it's really buzzy. But I'll tell you the thing that I've noticed most about all this lately is that it feels like the longer I go through this, I mean I vibrate all the time, I think you'll know, I keep saying this to you, but it's like a pole that goes from my head down to my crown chakra down to my base chakra. It's like my whole spine has become like a rod, and the rod vibrates, and especially, and it's not all the time that it's apparent, but when I'm near somebody that needs healing or that needs energy, that it starts to vibrate. It's like I start to activate at that point. Or when there's an energy being near me, when my guide is near me and you're aware of a big 8-foot being standing next to you, before I'm aware that they're there, I actually start to feel a vibration start in my base chakra and work its way up my body, and it feels like you're vibrating between your thighs, almost at your bottom, It's and it can be quite off-putting when you're like, why am I vibrating there? And that is your base chakra, which is connected to your primal level, your animal level. So your body's starting to activate on the primal level. You're aware of a being next to you, and then when you feel the vibration, I mean, mostly the vibrations in my heart. So it was every chakra I'm aware of vibrating in, everyone. But it's this cord inside me, this pole inside me that's like a vibrating pole. My spine is now just a big vibrating pole. But I feel it at every centre, all down my physical body. And it is like it's like a warmth, like I'm aware of it. It's like almost like you could feel the spinning, like hands of a clock spinning round in each chakra. I can feel the movement, I can feel the spin. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing, and I'm seeing a lot more faces. I mean physical faces of energy beings that, like, you know, I told you I know a lot of Andromedans, and they are about 8 foot tall, very thin. They're about the same thinness as us humans, but just stretched really tall. So you see a face from your ceiling looking down at you, and they're not floating, they're that tall. And the face will just be smiling, and they look fairly human, but the nose looks like it's been, I don't know, flattened here or something. It's like, I don't know that. I don't know, it's very strange to describe. From the side it looks like a perfect nose, but the front, it looks like it's been chiselled. It's really weird. But anyway, I'm seeing a lot more faces, but I'm getting a row for talking about this because I know they always say it gets me too much attention that way, and they don't want me to have that kind of attention.
And I'm like, is this year a carbon copy of 2012, but this is like the updated version? So what happened in 2012 and the friendships I made and the vibrations I was getting and the abilities I seemed to wake up with and the alien stuff, and how they told me that 9 hours of vibration was simulating the Ascension, that getting your body into fifth dimensional frequency so you can phase in and out. If the door opens, you can go. And I thought, is this year actual this is it, this is the real year for it. You know, this is what was 2012 and I've already gone through it. So these are little, what you call temporal markers to show me the truth, what's, you know, that it is. Because I'm now trying to track my dreams and think, okay, so after the vaccinations, what happened? What happened next? I wish I'd written them down in date order, because there was the Muslim issue where I never saw a terrorist attack, but I saw people afterwards being scared of. I saw Muslim community being scared of us and taking action against us, fighting, defending themselves when nobody was attacking. So they're expecting some kind of attack on them, but I never got shown what it was, which probably means it's a big fat lie. But people will think said thing has happened and they'll be expecting retribution. That happened. The planes falling at the sky was round about the same time. They look like military planes falling at the sky, black helicopters and stuff, black planes. Then was the armies fighting each other. And interestingly, I mentioned before about being in America when martial law came out. Now, at the time then, my kids were 9 and 12. And I knew I was in America, because if you've ever been to Scotland, then you will know that the streets are very narrow. Every street's really narrow. And, you know, very rare do you get a big wide street. So I knew I was in America just by the size of the streets. The houses were all like bungalows, and the streets were really wide. We have small cars here, a lot smaller, so we don't need as big streets. But in the dream, this little girl was standing next to me in the garden, this little blonde girl who was about 5 or 6. And I'm looking, thinking, oh, whose is this child? You know, this is lockdown. It's, you know, no one's allowed to leave their house at this moment. It's shoot on sight. So how am I going to get her home? Anyway, because the police were walking, it wasn't police, they were wearing long navy blue overcoats and like blue berets. I don't know who they were, but they're walking 2 by 2, you know, 2, 2, 2 this way, and then 6 would come this way, and then 6 would, constantly making sure nobody was leaving their house for whatever reason. And it dawned on me the other day, I was like, back then I had 2 boys and I had divorced my partner. I was going to be happily single for the rest of my life. I didn't realise I was going to meet someone new 6 years ago. Anyway, I've got a 5-year-old now. A little blonde girl. Just like in that dream. I'm like, holy shit. The little girl was mine. I thought somebody had, got out of her house, and how did she get here? I'm trying to take her home, not knowing where she lives. And she wasn't speaking to me, which probably meant she wasn't born yet. It's my little girl. The dream of the Muslims as well, being scared of us. I was pushing a little girl in a buggy. So perhaps we averted that one. But the one with the military were waiting on an enemy, and just like a switch was clicked, they all turned on each other and fighting. And then people in the streets were fighting, families, mother, son, husband, were all out in the street fighting each other. Now, interestingly, the family that my son saw in his dream fighting and stabbing each other and stuff, and it's horrible to say that, but they were. The husband actually passed away just a few months ago. So when I hear things like that, I'm like, he was shown that. Now that can't actually happen because he no longer exists there, right? He's deceased. So is that another one of these possibilities? It's going to happen, but it's not going to happen here. The fighting in the streets. Was that their plan, people to fight each other, but it's not going to happen because it can't happen. Now when I dream things that are going to happen, I'm there in person. When I dream that I'm being shown, it's the plan, I'm not there. It's like I'm a ghost moving among people watching this. So it looks like somewhere in the world people may be fighting each other, but it looks like that was the plan, and it possibly will not happen. That would be a great thing if that doesn't happen, because that was like Mad Max town. In some of the dreams I couldn't get home because people were fighting. They weren't fighting me. They weren't even looking at me really. They were fighting over other things. People were just angry in the streets. They were just really angry. But I hope that doesn't happen. So, back on point. The timeline of the dreams, was after the people in the street were fighting. My son said that he had like a big glowing white light came out of his heart centre, and he said, "Mum, what's happening?" And I said, "Oh, we're going now. We're leaving now. It's time to go home." And all of us were just extracted. Our consciousness was extracted, and we were taken. Of course, people would think we just all dropped dead because they would find the physical bodies behind, right? Just our consciousness is extracted. But the important thing is, my kids were only young little boys at the time of these dreams. And when I dreamt of America being in martial law, my granddad appeared as a ghost to me. He appears a ghost, which was strange because he hadn't passed away then. He only passed away a couple of years ago. But he handed a rifle to my son, saying, you're of age now. You can use this. And it was only one son he gave it to. Now, because my kids were like, at the time he was only about 10, 11, 12, maybe not older than 12. You have to be, 21 in America to have a gun? I don't know, really. You'll know if you're American. What is the age for guns? Because Stephen clearly wasn't of age yet. He's coming for 20 this year. So he wasn't of age, but my eldest son was of age. So that's a time marker they gave me there. A rough estimate of when there'll be martial law in America. Is it still going to happen? Is the truckers going to put an end to all that? Let's hope so, right? Because nobody wants that. And it felt to me like the martial law wasn't to control you, it was to keep you safe. I mean, there was controlling you, get shot on sight. But something obviously happens that people don't want to go out. They don't want you going on the street. Maybe for your own safety. I don't know the answer to that. Just the fact that those dreams showed a little girl in them, and I now do have a little girl, and I never even thought I was going to meet anyone. I had no plans to, and the chance of having a little girl at this age with long blonde hair like it was in all my dreams, it's kind of coincidental, right? It's too much of a coincidence to write it off. It has to be a temporal marker for time. So just ground yourself. Prepare for what may be a turbulent time in February, and hope it's not going to be. But these things are still to come. So get remote viewing. Have a look for yourself. I'm just a messenger. I just pass the messages. I just do the work in the background. I look, I see. I feel it's my job here just to keep an eye on what's happening and tell you if I think it's something you should know. Well, I'll just tell everything, because sometimes I've not said things and went, oh, why didn't I say anything? That's happened now. I could have given a heads up there or whatever. So I'm trying to be a little bit better and inform a little bit quicker. I put things off for weeks and I'm like, oh, it's too late now. Everyone knows, but I've seen the strength card and I've seen the tower card, but we're going to be okay. We're the ones that pick people up and say it's okay, it's all right. we're holding people in our arms and lifting them. I see them all fainting, like everyone's fainting and collapsing to the ground, but they're fainting through like just the sheer horror of the information they've been told. They just can't even stand, they're so weak with everything. So be there for your brothers and sisters, okay? Much love. I love you all dearly. I send all my heart energy to all you Lyrans and Andromedans and starseeds out there. Okay, much love. Bye bye.